This 1974 H2 was my COVID project. It started out as a pile of parts, and now it looks like a Denco H2, which is impressive considering it's not even what I wanted to build. I really enjoyed the creative process of modifying this 75 H1 into a cafe racer, so when I decided to build an H2, I also wanted to modify it to fit my creative vision. H2s can be expensive and hard to find, so I decided to piece one together one part at a time on eBay. That dream quickly changed when I got scammed out of the first part I bought on eBay. I decided to go to the Triple Owners group on Facebook, and thankfully, one two-stroke enthusiast, also named Jeff, offered up his H2 basket case. It wasn't cheap, but thankfully it was only about an hour away, so I decided I had to go check it out. After I saw everything it included, I bought my first H2. Technically, I bought a kit. Before I built this 73 H1 scrambler, I wanted to build an H2 scrambler. It was actually Jeff's idea to make the Denco replica. Considering Denco was known for making performance parts for triples back in the 70s, I figured this was different enough from the factory restoration, still true to the era, and, most importantly, I could paint it white without offending the purists. The project came with some hard to find stuff, including a seat that was in really good shape and a seat pan that, well, wasn't. Despite the fact that this is incredibly rusty, this foam is incredibly crusty, Jeff explained that it's not very uncommon for these to rust out, and he traded an entire motorcycle for the good seat. Suddenly this one doesn't seem so rusty. Also among the parts was a frame that was already painted. So I reused as many original parts as I could, swapping in reproductions only when something was missing or beyond saving, and before long, I had a rolling chassis. I got really lucky with the bodywork and everything was in really good condition, thanks again to Jeff. But I didn't have a paint code, so I took the liberty of adding a small touch of pearl to the paint, and after seeing it in the sun, I think I made the right choice. While the body was in progress, I started on the engine. It spun freely and even had compression, but it was heavily corroded, so I threw everything in the vapor blaster. I stood in front of that vapor blaster for several back-breaking hours, and the parts ended up looking better. At least it's clean Swiss cheese now. Next was exhaust, and Jeff had included 2 sets of Denco chambers. Problem was, there wasn't any mounting flanges, and they weren't exactly in the best shape either. Eventually, I found an aftermarket set that looked fairly close to Denco's, so I went ahead and ordered them up. Unfortunately, they shipped with about the same amount of packaging as a Pop-Tart, and there was minor damage in several locations. The manufacturer initially offered me a partial refund, but then ended up ghosting me. So I guess consider avoiding buying these, whatever these are. I bought everything from Jeff in late 2020, and the final part I bought was the rebuilt stator from Rick's Motorsports in August of 2023. So yeah, this bike took me 5 years, more money than I want to admit, and it certainly had its fair share of problems, but I think it was all worth it. So here it is, my 1974 Kawasaki Denco H2 Tribute. You can see it's covered in dust. Been quite a while since I've touched it. So we're going to pull it out and try to remember where I left off. Ran into a little bit of a roadblock with the throttle cable, not having the correct one. So I have one of those on order, as well as the hose clamps for the carbs. Meanwhile, working on routing everything, the cables and wires. Clutch is routed, but you can see it's a little wonky because I have shorter handlebars. Let's see, I did get the choke cable run. I mounted the chain guard, bent over, tightened all of the back end up. The cable or the chain needed to be adjusted, so I did that. Tightened everything up back here. What else? New throttle cable and the intake boot clamps have arrived. One thing I forgot is, or I just guess I only had one of these clips, so I just bent over some cotter pins. Need to get the little clip, so I got some E-clips on order. And then I went to back it off the ramp, or the lift, and realized now that the rear tire is adjusted for the chain, the brake is fully applied. Yikes. Not much left, hope it works. Nice. Getting ready to put this gorgeous tank back on. Ignore that. And have to trim away some of the clear coat and paint. It's just too thick for the latch, so I think I've got it. Hate to have cut that much back, but just want to ensure smooth operation. So let's get on, and then let's go for a ride. Right about here is when I realized I started recording instead of stopping. So I missed the entire first ride. Thankfully, my Ring camera caught it. Unfortunately, it's also missing a huge chunk in the middle just due to the way Ring records. So enjoy what I have. As you can see by the pool of gas on the floor, I still have a little bit of work to do, but I just rode my first Kawasaki H2 and I loved it. This thing had a lot of power. I can't wait to get it dialed in, take it for a real ride. I've got a few parts on order, mostly the petcock. Those vacuum powered ones just don't work right. I don't know, I'm pretty sure I rebuilt this one, but didn't work. I apparently don't have the hardware to fasten those down, and there was something else, but yeah, that is it. It's ready to rip. The tack is pretty noisy, so I don't know if I need to like lube the cable or something. I don't know, but this thing is pretty sweet. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching.